You cannot escape from death.
Remember when Harada said he was going to LA to record? Well, now we see that that video he was recording is a new interview with IGN. I have all the details here. I'm going to break it down very rapidly, but also I'm going to interject some details in there that you guys may not know, because there was things that was changed, but they didn't say why. And I think the why is so fascinating, and it gives us better context as to why they did something. You know, cause and effect is very important. The first thing that they talked about in this video was feedback that they got from the alpha test and how it is good, but also how it's kind of really good, and also how it's kind of better than the feedback that they used to get at arcades. They used to go to arcades with notepads and have people write down their opinions or whatever, and I guess that process just wasn't really as good. But also they said that the players there was more critical, is the word that they used. But the moral of the story, the alpha test definitely did its job. That's what initiated phase 2. And then they talked about the heat system change that they made in the current build of Tekken 8. You have two different versions of heat. You have the heat burst, where you simply activate heat system. You just press a button and then you activate it. But then the heat engager is when you activate heat while doing a attack. So let's say you do the Tonjet upper heat engager, right? You want to get some more aggression, some more power. That's what you have. But what they changed is, I guess you had these energy stocks with the chains in the latest build, and the chains represented, like, I guess how many stocks, how many times, how many whatever. I don't even understand it, and it kind of don't even matter anymore. But I guess the players, the feedback that they were getting is that it was basically too confusing. Tekken players don't know how to count. Tekken players don't know how to manage resources, so they got rid of that, and now it's just a single bar. That bar is all you need to focus on, and it tells you how full it is, how low it is, and you just go from there. So it's more streamlined, it's more simple. One thing that was also very interesting, and I want to see what moves this change for my character or maybe your character or whatnot, but they said that the heat attacks had individual buttons. Like every character had a different button that you would press to activate heat. But now in this current build of Tekken 8, now the button is the same for every character. So now we have the rage art being the same button for every character. I think it's R1, or you could press another button, but now the heat system kind of applies with those same rules. And I think it is a good change, because when you do pick up a different character, that's just another thing you have to remember. Like in Tekken 7, when I switch off Yoshimitsu, I'm constantly thinking about, how do I do this character's rage drive? How do I do their rage art? You know, you're thinking of core mechanics, and it's distracting from also just trying to learn the character themselves. So they're really making a good change there, and it's like going to help people who just want to mess around with some DLC or something like that. You know, it's a good change. The next question they ask is, does Tekken, and this is a good question, does Tekken 8 cater to aggressive or defensive players? They basically say defense is strong in fighting games, much stronger than other games, because you can block. And it's also stronger than other fighting games' defenses, because you can sidestep, you can move left, you can move backwards, you could simply make an attack with. So adding this extra layer of aggression is really just, I don't want to say to balance it, but it's basically to make attacking kind of simpler. Like in Tekken 7, if you watch like high level play, or if you just watch like some intense matches, no one wants to press a button. Everyone is terrified. You press a button and all of a sudden your opponent's over here. The Tekken matches, they all kind of end in like a stalemate. No one is able to challenge each other without putting your whole entire life on the line. The heat system is going to try to change that, to give people more of an opportunity to go on offensive. Not necessarily make a comeback and turn the tide, but just to be able to play the game, right? Another question that was asked is, why did they switch from releasing on arcades first to releasing on consoles first? And as it stands, I don't even think there is a arcade version of Tekken 8. We'll have to see if that comes down the road. But basically they say the state of arcades is not good. Arcades is basically dead everywhere. And then also they said when they did release on arcades, it gave basically a huge advantage to the arcade players. For Tekken 7, it came out at arcades 2 years before consoles, and what that did to like a competitive scene was insane. The Japanese and Korean players really mastered the game, and when tournaments started, they dominated for like 3-4 years, because the meta kept evolving. So not only did it take the Americans and EU and stuff to catch up, but they had to keep on catching up because the meta kept evolving. So it really took players like Anakin, Shadow, Joker, Super Akuma. It took all of these players who play really well now. It took them so many years to catch up, and that's another reason why they're getting rid of it, because not only does people not play arcades, but when you favor arcades, it literally destroys the competitive scene. Another thing that they said that was really interesting, the arcade division within Bandai Namco was separated. I guess it was turned into another company or something like that. And basically Harada no longer oversees the arcade division. We're still waiting for a Claudio gameplay trailer. They didn't say anything about that. So maybe the next tournament, a upcoming tournament, Evo, who knows. Subscribe to the channel and become a member. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.